Hey, what's going on, community and culture night friends? We are going to get started in just a second. Thanks for tuning in today. We are going to wait just a few moments just to allow people to hop on, and then we are going to get started. But while we are waiting, just want to remind you, if you didn't already get the news, that today we're going to do something a little bit different than what we've ever done before. So after our last speaker, which is going to be Destiney, we're really excited to chat with her. We are going to hop on a Zoom link. So you should see on the Facebook group, there's an admin post about a Zoom link. After our conversation with Destiney, we're going to hop on for about 15 minutes to continue our conversation on art journaling. This is something we hope to do just to add an extra element of community and culture. Obviously, as we stated from the beginning, our goal and hope was to continue to build community, and then everything happened with COVID, so we're unable to meet. So we're trying to find creative ways for people to stay connected, to get connected, and we figured this would be a way. This is no obligation, but it's just an opportunity for you to connect with people. So following this community and culture night, following our conversation with Destiney, we'll take a couple seconds, and then you'll see the username or the PIN number and the password to hop onto that Zoom link, and we'll be there to continue our conversation and our practice of art journaling. So just hold tight just for a couple more seconds as we allow a couple more people to hop on, and we'll get started with Abraham. All right, well, I don't want to take too much time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, thanks so much for being a part of Community Culture Night. I know this month in particular, it feels like it's been crazy for a lot of people as things are starting to open up more and work starts to find new rhythms. So thanks for taking time to be a part of Community Culture Night. Really excited today for our first guest. He's a close friend of mine. I've worked with him for the past year. We started working at Anderson University together at the same time. His name is Abraham Haler. He is a professional, and I mean professional, I mean like legit car detailer. And so he's going to share with us a little bit of his story as well as some opportunities to go from there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Abraham onto the screen.
3, 2, 1, boom. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, Abraham? How you doing, man?
Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited, super pumped to join you guys in community and fellowship and teach and entertain and all those kinds of things into the detailing world.
Well, hey, man, I know that I know a little bit about your backstory, but I'm really excited just for you to share a little bit more about how you got into your business. Last month, we had a couple people sharing about the businesses that they started. And so it's really cool to hear about people's stories and how they got inspired to do what they do. So if you could share a little bit about your background and then how you got into car detailing, because that's not something that, it's not like you grew up like loving cars or anything like that. It'd be cool for us to know a little bit more about your story.
Yeah, a little bit about me first. I'm Abraham Haler. I grew up in Newcastle, Indiana. I'm 23 and I actually turn 24 tomorrow. And so young pup. I just got married at the end of June. It's my beautiful bride, Ryan Haler, and she is from the same university that I graduated from, Anderson University, which is where Nee and I work together. Grew up, born and raised in Newcastle, played basketball all my life, and played basketball in college for 1 year. And so grown up in the church all my life. My dad's been a pastor since I could walk. And so kind of been through the church with my dad and my brother and sister. Got, let's see, one brother, one sister. Both are married. So I've got a brother-in-law and a sister-in-law. My sister and brother-in-law, they've got a little baby girl named Evelyn Ruth. She's 15 months. And then my brother and sister-in-law, they just got married kind of during COVID as well. And they are now pregnant and they're due in February. So our family, the Haler family, is growing, which is awesome. But that's a little bit about me and kind of my personal story and everything. But in the detailing world, right? Actually, like Nee said, you don't just kind of grow up to say, I want to be a car detailer. It's definitely um, a picked up thing for me. I started when I was 16 years old. I actually kept really good care of my car. I had a car that my grandfather gave me a couple years before he passed away, and I was like, if he's going to give me this beautiful car, I'm going to keep good care of it. And so I just kept really good care of it all throughout high school. And when I was 16, my brother worked at a pool close to my house, and I would go to the pool to swim and all that kind of stuff. And there's actually an older couple there that was like, "Wow, Abraham, you keep such good care of your car." And I was like, "Well, thanks." And they were like, "Can you do our car?" And when I was 16 at the time, I mean, I was working part time at a YMCA, being a swim teacher, and I was like, "Sure,
Oh,
I'll
easy
wash your
money for
car."
sure, right?
I was ready for it. I was like, I don't want to teach swim lessons all summer. And so I was able to clean up their car. Now, at the time, all I had, and this is what I tell everyone whenever I start kind of my detailing story, I had a bucket, a junky sponge, dish soap, a junky shop vac, and a like a beach towel. So,
Basically, what everybody has when they do a car
right.
wash in front of their driveway when they're like 6.
Yeah. So if you've ever, washed your car when you're younger, or even now, some people, when it's hot and sunny, they're like, I'm going to get my car clean. That's what they use. I'm going to tell y'all, that's not the best thing to use on your car. So that was what I was using at the time. And I'll never forget, y'all. It took me 10 hours to do that car, and I earned $40. I
Gee,
thought, oh my gosh, this is awesome. But that's how I started. And so from there, it slowly evolved right into a full business. And eventually, I quit my part time job in the summer. I started doing cars. The first summer, I did like 5 or 6 cars. And then each summer, it would slowly grow. And I'm like, whoa, this can be something big. And so my entrepreneurial spirit, I kind of just took it over, and I ran with it. And so I created a Facebook business page. Just recently, I created an Instagram. I've had Instagram all my life, but created the whole business Instagram. But yeah, I ran with it. And once I actually created that business page on Facebook, it blew up. I worked full time, senior year of high school in the summer, all throughout college. During the summer, I'd work full time detailing. And then, junior and senior year, it was kind of part time when I was still a student. And so, from little junky wash bucket to where I'm at now, it has grown exponentially, and it's just been a blessing from the very beginning. And it's a crazy story.
yeah. So I want to dive into like a little bit more about like the idea of like the bucket, the water, like the beach
Yeah,
towel, because like there is a big difference between just like washing your car and detailing it,
for
right?
sure.
Like there's a really big difference. So
Yeah.
can you elaborate, like when you tell people like you're a car detailer, like
Hmm.
what does that mean for you? Like what's
For
like the
sure.
what's the bare minimum of like, hey, this is what I do that's
Yeah.
different than like I'm just washing your car.
Correct. A saying I like to use is anyone, and I mean this with the absolute most respect. If you do this, that's okay. But anybody can wash a car, right? It takes a special someone with a special set of skills to detail a vehicle. You can wash a car by doing some soap and a sponge and dry it off, right? When I do the outside of a vehicle, there are products and chemicals that I have to put on the vehicle to break down any of the dirt, the grime, all of that stuff before I can ever do. It's called a contact wash. So I will spend 40 minutes prepping the vehicle before ever washing the car. There are buildups in your vehicle's paint that you kind of got to be careful for. They're called iron deposits, and those can actually scratch your paint, and they're not super healthy for your vehicle's paint. So I mean, I'll spend 40 minutes prepping the car before I ever wash it. And even when I wash it, it's a tool. It's called a foam cannon. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's very
It's an
satisfying.
awesome video to watch.
It is fun, and you spray a thick layer of foam all over the car after you've prepped it, so that way you can kind of start washing it, right? And when I wash it, I don't just use a normal sponge. I use a microfiber wash mitt, and so I do a 2 bucket method, and that means like I have a rinse water and then I have a soap water, and I only do panel by panel, and I start from top to bottom. So those are just some of the small details, and I use brushes around like the gas cap, the window trim, um, the tops of the car, around the headlights, all in the grills of the vehicle, the tail lights, all the emblems. And so, like, someone could just wash a car with a sponge. Detailing is getting those fine-tuned spots that are just really going to get overlooked by a normal car wash person, or a Clancy's, or a Crew, or one of those kinds of things. So
Okay, so
that's kind of the
I want to dive in there because I didn't realize, like, so I moved here, right, like 4 years
Anna.
ago.
It's so satisfying. It is.
I, I moved here 4 years ago, and I did not realize that Crew, like, I didn't realize that like car washing was like a big deal. And then I moved here, and like Crew car wash is like just freaking
Everywhere.
taking over the world, right? But I know we've had conversations in the office where like you hear the word Crew and you like cringe a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so talk a little bit about that. Like, talk a little about like, you know, what what actually is happening when you take your
Right.
car to those like just Crew car wash type places.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a misconception, kind of in the car wash realm and people keeping their cars clean, where Crew is, and I love Crew. It's awesome. It keeps people's car clean, but it's actually damaging to your car. Those unlimited passes that people buy, those things are from the devil. They will scratch your vehicle. So picture this. A muddy farm truck or a big truck runs through the Crew automatic tunnel wash, right? Yes, Crew will kind of power wash stuff off. Once you run that car through um, the automatic tunnel wash, all the particles, all the dirt, rocks, chips, even rusted parts on your vehicle can get caught in those spinning things. I don't even know what they're called, in the cloth of that. And that then in return, you're behind that truck. That's going to get put onto your vehicle. Those are going to get stuck in there. They're going to run through the sides of your cars, the tops of your car, and they're going to put micro scratches in your vehicle. And so that's why I'm like, ooh, it's cringy. But like, it can be harmful to your car over time. You run through Crew one time every month. That's not going to be terrible on your car, right? But over time, you're going to start to see those swirls and scratches in your car's paint, like in the sun when the sun's reflecting on it. Okay, um, Crew doesn't care, and they just want your money, and it's quick and easy money for them. But a detailer is going to try to eliminate as much of those scratches and swirls as possible. And so I know sometimes there's like Crew and Prime, and even like touchless spray washes. They put like a base pre-wash on your car to like break down dirt and gunk and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, that stuff is basically like acid. It'll eat through, it's not going to eat through your paint, but it's going to be so strong it's going to eat through that stuff, and it's very, very harmful on your paint. So cars have waxes, sealants, all those kinds of things to help protect the paint, keep it safe, keep it looking good, keep it shiny and glossy. That acid, or the pre-wash stage, is just going to eat away at that and deteriorate that protective barrier that's on your car. And so, long story short, it makes your car look good in the moment, and just over time, it can lose value to your vehicle by putting some of those swirls and scratches in that paint.
I think everyone who's listening is like just kind of in awe right now. Like, what in the world have we been doing our entire our
Yeah,
entire, you
questioning
know?
your entire life. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Because I remember the first time we had a conversation about it, and I'm like, what in the world? I had no idea. So imagine we are brand new. We come to you, we say, hey, we want to do our car right. Like,
Yeah,
what are the products that you use? If you had like to list two or three of your like go to everybody
yeah,
for maybe outside, but even inside, because I know like
hmm,
even I've seen the stuff you do on the inside, and
right.
this is for his Instagram because he's not doing a ton right now because of work, but guys, his Instagram videos and his like transitions are incredible. So like
They're
hop
fun,
on, we'll talk about that later. But what are some go-to products
right.
that you use? And then also if you could talk just about like even inside of a car, like
Hmm.
what sorts of things you do.
Yeah, for sure. So what I use is all detailer line from Meguiar's. That's all, basically all the stuff I use, because that's a professional detailing brand. So I'm gonna kind of give you guys an accessible way that you guys can kind of do your own thing, and that's simply going to Walmart. They have a lot of detailing stuff, and I'm not even kidding. There's quite a bit of stuff in there that is really good. So I would say, to properly wash your vehicle, okay, if you're gonna just wash the car, if you're not even gonna worry about the wheels and tires, because that's a whole nother separate field of washing and detailing a car. If you're gonna wash the outside of your car, some of the really important things you're gonna need, obviously a hose, access to water, some kind of spigot to make it a little more pressurized water. But you're gonna want a really nice car shampoo. You don't want dish soap. because actually dish soap is going to break down any kind of wax or sealant that's on your vehicle. It breaks down grease and oil, and it's going to do the same thing on your car. I've actually used dish soap to strip not the paint, but the wax or seal on a vehicle for some of my higher end vehicles. So that way, what
Wow.
I apply on there is going to bond properly. That's how strong dish soap can be. So choosing a very professional or automotive vehicle shampoo is very important. Any kind of microfiber sponge, um, pad, or any kind of thing like that is really good to like wash your car with. Um, a microfiber drying towel is also very important because beach towels are not good to dry your car with. So a lot of times you can get into that. I'm just going to grab a beach towel from the closet and we're good. Those are very abrasive materials. Your finger can actually cause an abrasion to your vehicle and cause a scratch or a smudge or something like that. So a microfiber towel is another one of those things because they are specifically made for vehicles. So soap, microfiber like wash mitt or sponge, a microfiber towel, and then any kind of like wax or spray sealant or anything like that. So you kind of have two forms of paint protection to protect the car's paint, and that can be a liquid wax or a spray sealant. And that's just something that you put on the car, you wipe it in, and you buff it off to a high shine to help protect the paint, keep it glossy, keep it shiny. Those are some of the things that you would want on the outside of your car. You can literally go to Walmart, buy some shampoo for $5 that's going to last you like 20 washes. Wash a microfiber towel, microfiber wash mitt, 2 or 3, $4 each, and even a wax can be anywhere under from $10. Those detailing sections are honestly a gold mine if you're just a casual weekend warrior kind of thing like that. Um, Someone said I feel like I'm being called out personally with the beach towel. I promise I'm not calling you out. I'm trying to help you all out and educate you guys. I love this and I want to educate you. I'm not calling you out, I swear. Um, so outside of the vehicle, that's some of the things that you would want. There's all kinds of, I mean, there's for the outside of a car, I use combined over 15 different products just to wash the outside of the car. Just to prep it, protect it, wash it right, do the wheels, do the tires, all kinds of brushes, towels, that kind of thing. But simple, consumer based, y'all. That's Walmart's a good thing like that. So those things inside of the car. That gets a little more tricky, right? You got leather, you got pleather, you got plastic, you got vinyl, you've got carpet, you've got fake junky carpet in some cars. It just it depends a lot. Yes, 15, I'm not kidding. It's crazy. Um,
This really is an art form. I mean, it
it
really is an
is.
art.
And I love it. It's so much fun and it's so interesting. But when you move to the interior, that's where you kind of have some different products that you really got to be careful for because you can get like all-purpose cleaners, you can use degreasers, those kinds of things to kind of clean up your plastics, your vinyl, your leather. All of those things again can be found at Walmart. There are certain brands that are like leather cleaner. There are certain brands that are plastic cleaner. You can buy one degreaser and you can dilute it with water to make it stronger or weaker for leather or plastic, and it just depends. A microfiber towel you can scrub down the plastics with. Again, this is very basic stuff for y'all. That kind of thing. So leather cleaners, conditioners, those are really good, to clean the leather and then rejuvenate it and protect it. There's window glass cleaners at Walmart that are really good. There are plastic and vinyl protectants, just because when you clean that plastic or vinyl, you're opening up the pores to the sun, right? The sun can be damaging, especially for your interior of your car and the exterior, but the inside, after you've cleaned it, you want to dress it with some kind of protectant to make it
Right.
shiny again, make it look good, brand new, but also to protect it. So then when it's protected, it's easy to kind of keep clean.
Right.
So that's just a few things cleaning wise. A really helpful tip to keep your car clean without feeling overwhelmed and being like, I got to pay hundreds of dollars to go get it detailed by Abe or by some other person. Simply sweeping out your car every once in a while. Take 15, 20 minutes, get a shop vac, get the attachment on your sweeper, run an extension cord out to your car, and just keeping your car swept out with dirt and dust. You will not, like 80% of the floor junk that I deal with can be cleaned up by just sweeping. So that's something that's super, super helpful, just to kind of help maintain keeping the inside of your car clean and those kinds of things. And then I won't even get into the steam cleaning, the carpet extraction, shampooing, heat, all those kinds of things. But yeah, just a few tips that you can do. But like go to Walmart, go to an auto parts store. There are all kinds of detailing products there that are actually pretty stinking good, that you can use at a consumer based.
Man, okay. I wish we had like so much more time to talk more
I'm
about
so
this. But
sorry, y'all.
no. But we have questions. I'll make sure we get to them.
Oh, okay.
Somebody asked, "How do you fix a hole in leather? Any recommendations?"
So I actually do not fix things on vehicles. I solely clean them, bring them back to life. So like if there is rust on the outside of the car or a dent, I don't take care of those things. If there is hole in the leather or there's holes in the carpet or there's a crack in the windshield, I don't do those things. I'm not licensed to do those kinds of things, and so I can't. I had some echo, so I can't kind of answer that for you, and I'm really sorry. But yeah, typically, I mean, there are some leather care kits that you can buy on Amazon, where you got to kind of match the color grade of the leather. Maybe that might be something you check into, but I actually don't do any of that work just because that's out of my repertoire, and this is what I like to focus on. So I'm sorry I can't answer that, but maybe an Amazon kit, or maybe a brand kit from the make of your vehicle, that kind of thing.
So, as a couple more questions roll in, what are some horror stories you have about someone
Oh
about a?
gosh. Some horror stories. I have had children's throw up. I've had animals throw up in the car. I've had dog feces. I've had stuck in gum, Skittles. I've found molded burgers. I have found drug paraphernalia. I have found empty bullet shells. You name it, I've literally found it. I turn away vehicles though if I find any kind of like drugs or those kinds of things. But yeah, I've seen that. I had a owner of it was an older Honda like Pilot. I think it was like a 2000 something Honda, one of those mid-size SUVs. The owner had two pit bulls, and there's a girl in our office who makes fun of me, but there were two pit bulls, and they basically lived in the car. And every stinking square inch of that car was covered in pit bull hair. And I have to upcharge vehicles for extreme dirtiness, pet hair, feces, those kinds of things. Pit bull hair is the worst hair to clean up because it's short, tiny fibers that get really knitted under the fibers of the carpet and the seats. So it took me, I kid you not, 5 hours brushing with my pet hair brush before I could do anything else. Massive upcharge to the lady, but she was expecting that, and I communicate that with my clients. Um, that's one of the worst. Dog poop is never fun, but a simple gloves, woods, extract,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So those are a few horror stories. Yeah.
Someone asked, I've seen videos of people using, they're not sure the language, not sure what it is, but a machine that uses water to basically vacuum out the
Yeah.
dirt. I know I think it's maybe the extraction thing you're talking
Yeah.
about. Would you recommend using those?
Yeah. If you have one of those, you can use those. I know a lot of like Bissell machines have like, or like even a rug doctor. You could rent one of those, use one of those. The only thing you want to do though is make sure you agitate the carpet or the car seat. Agitate that area with a cleaner or some kind of carpet product, so that way you can emulsify and bring up some of that nastiness. And then what the extractor does is it is going to spray out hot water usually and pull out at a high rate, and so it's going to be able to extract some of that nastiness. I have a professional grade detailing extractor that heats the water to 220 degrees. It pulls it out like stronger than my vacuum. So simply agitating and extracting are really nice. So those are very helpful to the Facebook user that asked that question. Literally, you can go to Walmart and rent a rug doctor. Bissell's have like those little attachments that are like 3 or 4 inches wide. You can use that, but just making sure that you find some kind of like carpet product to use, and that will help that. So yeah.
Somebody asked, I know you talked about cleaning out your, like vacuuming your car. Anything else in terms of best practices for keeping your car clean day to day?
Yeah, day to day, it's very easy to get caught up in the busyness of life to, oh, I'm finally home from work. Let's just get inside the house, go to your kids or your wife, husband, whatever. But it's super easy to just like let trash, your maybe your coffee run from that morning, or the kids' wrappers from their food or candy. Simply cleaning out your trash day to day when you're going in. It's a super easy way to just not let everything get cluttery. Even, like I said, mentioning sweeping out, every once or twice a month for 15, 20 minutes, just sweeping out your carpets quickly is going to help. Sometimes if you have like rubber floor mats, some folks have those, and you can take those out and just toss them and put them back in. That is just going to help keep that clean day to day, and those kinds of things. So I hope that helps, Anna. Yes, I read your mind or read your mail. Cool, good. And another little tip to help with like dust and smudges, you can buy little bitty, like, I don't know, 5x5 microfiber towels, 6x6 microfiber towels at Walmart or even Costco, even Amazon. Just look up microfiber cleaning towels. Those things are God's gift to myself and to car owners and to cleaning stuff in your house. It's super easy to wipe up dust, clean it off your touch screens or in your center console, those kinds of things that really will, help keep it clean day to day. So I hope that answers that, Anna.
Perfect. Well, we got to wrap up. So what I want to do
Thanks,
is just ask her first and foremost, where can people, we have two more questions. Where can people connect with you if they want to reach out about your services, about
Yeah, absolutely.
incredible work. The stuff you even do with Teslas are like unbelievable.
Thank you.
So where can people follow you to get more
Yep.
tips, all that stuff?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram page that has a few hundred followers, but then I have a Facebook business page, which I probably do 90% of my business through Facebook business page. I have no website, no email. It's just all Facebook Messenger. So you can contact me there. I've got about several hundred, over 1,000 likes and follows on there. Connect with me there. Message me there. I can send you my full price sheet, my packages. I do interior, exterior detailing. I have a package. It's called the Works. It's full interior, full exterior. It's a little discounted rate instead of doing like a separate interior, a separate exterior. Just connect with me on social media, Facebook. It's called OC Detailing. So capital O, capital C, capital D, lowercase e-tailing. So OC Detailing. So connect with me there. Find me on Facebook. I would love to give you all some more tips and tricks, send you my prices and packages. I'm located in Newcastle, Indiana, which is kind of a decent little drive from Indianapolis, but I do mobile residential detailing. So if that's something y'all are interested in, but just connect with me. I love educating and sharing my passion with others and helping anybody out. So if you need hey, how do I get the stain out? Hey, what do I use on my wheels? Hey, what do I do here? Let me know, for real. I will help y'all out as much as I can, and I want to help y'all. So, yeah.
Cool. Last question. Obviously, this community culture night, we talked a little bit about kind of the purpose behind it. And I know this question is coming, but yeah. What does community mean to you? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, community is really just surrounding yourself with the people that you want to invest in yourself, but also that are investing in you. And just being with those people that are true and dear to your heart. When I think of community, I think back to my college days and my floors with my residents. Just joining in life together, joining in fellowship together, talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard things that you're going through in life. To me, that's community, going through real life with each other. And whether it be 2 people, whether it be 20 people, whether it be your church, just being with those people that you love most and that really pour into you and give you life.
Awesome. Well, Abe, thanks so much, man, for being a part of Community Culture Night. I know our community definitely learned a lot, and I'm sure we'll definitely be reaching out to you for questions. And like I said, we'll make sure that we connect, and we'll have your information for OC Detailing and your personal pages as well in our Facebook group. So thanks so much, man.
Thank you all. I hope if y'all reach out, let me know if you need any help. Thank you. Best of luck with the rest of the night, and peace and blessings, you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, brother.
See ya.
Well, I hope you guys learned something new. I wish you guys could be in the office with him because he's had stories for days, and he's fantastic at what he does. Really excited for our next presenter, who is a part of our Community and Culture Night team who helped launch this. Destiney, she's absolutely fantastic, super creative, super brilliant. And so she is going to talk a little bit more about art journaling. So this is your opportunity right now. You have a couple seconds to get whatever art supplies you brought, whether it's markers, crayons, color pencils, whatever you need, get that ready, because she is going to show up in a second. Also, remember, after this, we are going to have a just about 10-15 minute Zoom conversation just to make sure we're all together, because in this space we don't get to see each other. So if you're up for it, you have another 15 minutes. We'd love to continue our conversation on art journaling and work through a prompt that Destiney has for us together via Zoom. You should see all that information on the page itself. So without further ado, I'm trying to stall to give you time to get whatever you need. We're going to bring up Destiney, and Destiney is going to take it away.
Hey guys. Oh, it's a little bit laggy. Okay, there we go. Hey guys, first I just want to say thanks so much for having me on Community and Culture Night tonight. I'm super excited to share just something that I love so deeply with people. I don't feel like I really talk about art as much with everyone and with my community. It's more so I just post art things and then people find out, but I'm really excited to share this part of my life. And then also, thank you, Nee, one, for just like hosting this and leading us super well each month. We're so grateful for you. And then two, Abraham, I was the one that asked about the extractor, like the cool water extractor thing. I've seen those videos and I'm like, that is so satisfying. I need to get one. But a little bit about me. My name is Destiney again. I go to IUPUI and I study psychology, and then I'm also a cultural diversity minor. But before I was a cultural diversity minor, I was actually aiming to get the pre-art therapy certificate. So I'm no stranger to art at all. I've been doing it basically my whole life. I love it. And I kind of got introduced to art journaling because I took a visual communications class in high school, and it was literally just us, like we had journals, and she was like, here's a prompt, and every single week you're going to do this, and that's the entire class. And that's what kind of got me into it, and it's been so fun ever since. Even outside of art journaling, just art in general is just such a beautiful experience. It's so fun. I enjoy it so much, and I hope you guys enjoy this little presentation that I put together. So hopefully you can see this. I decided to do a little bit of a PowerPoint because I feel like art journaling, it's visual, it makes sense. And I don't know about you guys, but I love PowerPoint. Like, I've always been such a PowerPoint fan. If I can go all out on it, like I will for any sort of presentation. So I'm super excited to share this. So first things first, the biggest question that I get asked is, what is art journaling? And it might lag on your end. I can't see any of the comments, so hopefully it's not. It seems pretty good so far though. But the best way that I heard it described was art journaling is an open-ended and unstructured form of creative work. I just feel like that's the perfect way to describe it. It's unstructured. There's no rules. You're free to do what you want. There's no pressure at all. Really, it's a form of play, I feel like. Just imagine yourself being a kid, or just a kid coming up to you, and they're telling you about your day, or about their day. And when it's a kid doing it, it's super detailed. They're super excited, super animated. That's kind of how art journaling is. The art aspect of it is you're sharing your art, you're sharing your creative side, and then the journaling side is the super detailed, sometimes word aspect of art journaling and creating. And then also it's a form of exercise. I feel like you're exercising your creativity. It's a practice. It takes time. It doesn't matter if you're good or not. Everyone can do art, but you're just exercising your creativity. You're exercising being introspective and looking into yourself, and basically voicing that through art and through journaling at the same time. And then it's also a form of self-care. I think you're basically just processing through things that are in your mind, your emotions, experiences, anything like that. You're taking care of yourself. You're using art to literally navigate life in I feel like a really safe, comfortable way. So obviously it's art. It's a combination of colors, textures, patterns, through different mediums. So like you can draw, you can paint, A lot of people collage. There's so many more things that you can do, and it's journaling. So journals, diaries are extremely personal. So it's a personal record of your thoughts, of your dreams or your goals, your experiences and emotions. And then it's also art journaling combines words and art. And I think sometimes we forget that. It's words and it's art. The words that you put in your art directly are linked to the art that you create. And the art that you create in your art journal is directly linked to the words that you put on the paper. But I also want to preface that, like, it's not limited to just like creating art journals with words. You don't have to use words at all. But art journaling, the concept of it, typically you're supposed to use words when you do art journal, because you're trying to process through something. But you can process just by creating art too. So the next thing, you don't have to be an artist to art journal. I hear so many people say, oh, I can't make art. I'm not good at it. It doesn't matter. I promise it does not matter. There's no rule book. There's no, you have to meet this standard. You can create art. Art is an expression. Everyone has something to express. So if you can express something, which if you're alive and you're human, I know that you can, you're able to make some art, and you're able to create an art journal. So this is open for everyone, not just people who are like, quote unquote, really, really good at art. Definitely not. So I want to talk about the different types of art journals because there are a bunch of different kinds. So the first one they're called altar journals. And these specifically are art journals that are done in books. So versus it being on like in like a spiralized like sketchbook, or on blank in like blank books, it's done in some sort of book. So whether it's like a book on your shelf, a lot of people use like encyclopedias or old dictionaries and things. It's done in there. And the concept of it is to use the words in the book and to connect it to art that you create. So I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but you guys see this one with like the hand and it's holding up some sort of ball. And in the ball, these words are like outlined. The idea is that you're trying to create some like sort of poem or some sort of saying with the words in there, and then you're making art in order for that to make sense. You don't have to do that either, because as you can see in these other two, in one, a lot of people also like to use stitching in their altar journals. It's really, really pretty to see like the contrast between like all the words in the paper, and then also to see like this almost embroidered design on it. So people do that, and then people also just like the look of the words, and they'll just art journal around it, like this little profile picture right here. So the next journal, oh, I went down a little bit too far. The next art journal, these are travel journals. These are like all over Pinterest. So if you're a Pinterest user, you've probably seen these. Basically, it's art journaling that's documenting your experience as you travel. So people will do this if they're like going to the lake or if they go camping, versus just like writing about your day and like using words to document it only. People will put like Polaroid pictures of their trip or vacation in it. They'll put like train tickets, airplane tickets in there as like a little keepsake. And then they'll also like draw the like the beach, or in this case, like in one of them, it's like the Grand Canyon. And then they'll also share what they saw as they went on vacation. So it's incorporating memories and like sort of like a diary type of concept, because most people will do like the date and then they'll share what they did, and then they'll share some sort of art, whether it's like a photo or they actually draw it. So I like these. These are really neat. And the next one, these ones don't really fit into a specific category. So I just put them all together, and I'm calling them pre-made journals. So my favorite one, and I've actually never done this, and I've never bought one, but I've always wanted to because I see them. But I feel like recently learned about them, like within the last year, and then I've been seeing them everywhere, and I think they're so beautiful. So they're called zines, and zines are basically these tiny books, probably like, they can be smaller than 4x6, but they're usually 4x6, like a little photograph. And artists will create these little zines, which are made from basically like normal printer size sheets of paper, and they fold them up to make it into like a little book like that. And they create art in it. And the idea is that the art tells a story on each page. So it can make sense, but from the ones that I've seen, they usually don't. They can be super, super random, really abstract. Sometimes they use words, sometimes they don't. But the idea is that they're like using one sheet of paper and they're telling a story, and it's really short and simple, but it's super cool to see their art. It's a really cool way for them to like display it. You can buy these from like Urban Outfitters. I know Barnes & Noble sells them. They're kind of, I'd say, like coffee table type books. They don't really have a meaning. You just have them because they look cool, and it's an artist's book, and you can just like swap it with friends. I feel like they'd be like nice little like Christmas stocking gifts, things like that. And a lot of the times too, they're interactive, so you can buy them and you add to the art that they have inside of it. The next one, it's coloring journals. I feel like these are pretty common. You can find them anywhere: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. They're basically just coloring books with like journaling pages inside of it. And then there's also creative prompt journals, and these are really neat too. So when I was in like 8th grade, I had one called Wreck This Journal, and it's basically a book, and inside of it they have prompts. So for instance, one that Carrie Smith, who's the author of Wreck This Journal, she had like the first page, it just says, here's a dot, fill this page out, use the dot and create something. And so you either add to the dot, or you can like cut the whole out. You can literally do anything. It's just like creative freedom, totally. There was also another really cool page where it was like, leave this book outside for a week and see what the elements of the environment do to it. So those are really fun. You can find them anywhere also. And then the next one, this is super common. Some of you guys might do this too. It's bullet journaling. I've always wanted to try this. I've actually, I recently learned about this too through some of my friends, and I've started looking into it. So basically, bullet journaling is art journaling that's a little bit more structured and organized. The aim, there's like an aim to it. So you're tracking something, you're listing something, versus making like a normal bulleted list. You're making it a bulleted list with art, or just a list that has art surrounding it. So there's like the mood tracker, and then there's also ones for like movies to watch. I've seen like Netflix shows. People will like list their favorite food, places they want to travel, so many things. They're really, really cool. And then lastly, there's mixed media journals. So this is like the classic art journaling. When you think of art journaling, this is typically probably like what you're thinking of. It's mixed media. So there's a ton of layering. There's like no limitations at all. You can literally do whatever you want. So it's basically like a mix of every single journal that I said before. You can use paper, pastels, paint, pen, anything you want on it. It can be super structured and organized. It can be extremely abstract. You can use words. You don't have to use words. That's why I really, really love it. So that's pretty much what art journaling is. As you can see, there's like so many different kinds of them. But what's important is like, why art journal? Why? So really, it's relaxing, and it's just a way to be present in the moment. If you're using it as a tool to kind of process through your day or process through emotions that might be kind of hard, it's forcing you to sit down, look at those things, and to create art out of it. versus like having these thoughts that are constantly going and needing to like talk about them. You're just using art to do it. It's really fun. I'm biased because I do it, but if you're someone who you don't feel like you'd be good at art, or you don't want to do art and you're not interested, I feel like you should try it at least once. It's so fun. It's super simple. It doesn't need to be something that's like so deep every single time, because I think a lot of people think that art needs to be really deep and meaningful. I'm that person sometimes, but it doesn't need to be deep and meaningful, to be honest. It doesn't need to look a certain way. It's not perfect. Art journaling is just fun. It's you just kind of like going through stuff and putting that on paper and writing out your experience if you choose to do that, in the form of drawing, painting, and like with pencil and pen. It also strengthens your creativity. You're practicing art as you do it. So even if you don't really like art, but you've always wanted to get better, as you do that day to day or from week to week, or once a month even, you're strengthening your creativity. You have to imagine visual things and you need to be able to put those on paper when you art journal. So that's a really good practice. It's also super encouraging. So I guess back to like the bullet journal, if you're someone who wants to list out like possible goals for the next year, I know like New Year's is a really popular time to do that, or just in general, like life goals, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. As you go and complete your journal, you can look back and you can see how you've completed those goals or how things have changed. And it just feels good to look back at. Even with the travel journal, it feels good to look back and reminisce and see those like sweet memories, and to look back at those like vacations that you went on, and just how enjoyable of a time it was. Or even like if you went through a difficult time, it's neat to see yourself in a different space from that time period and see how much you've grown. It's indirect also. I feel like this is from personal experience, but I feel like art journaling is a really safe way to work through things and to process emotions that are really heavy. It's not as direct. You're as like sitting and having to like speak to someone about the things that you feel, because for some people it's really hard to share those things, to share their emotions, or really even like to understand the emotions themselves. Sometimes people can't pinpoint what they feel and why. So art journaling gives you the chance to be able to do that in a space that's safe for you. It's your own, it's personal. No one has to look into it. And you don't have to share it with anyone. And you can write about it if you want to express it like that versus using your voice. Or you don't have to write about it at all. You can just art and leave it at that. And then it also helps with personal development. I feel like kind of the same as just like it being encouraging and strengthening your creativity and relaxing. It just builds you as a person. It makes you self-aware. It's an introspective experience. You have to look inside of yourself and think about how you've reacted to things or how you've behaved, maybe how you feel, how you've reacted in past moments. And you're building that self-awareness, and that's super good. So lastly, and finally, where to begin? How do you start art journaling? So first things first, you always want to buy supplies. You can get these from like Michael's, Walmart, Target, literally anywhere, Joann Fabrics. You need a sketchbook, a journal, a book, a pre-made art journal. If you want, you need colored pencils, paint and brushes, markers, Sharpies, graphite pencils, pastels, gel pens. See, there's so many like types of supplies and mediums that you can use when you're doing this, which is really cool. And there's even more than this. So I'm just like putting the list down that I feel like is like the basics to really start art journaling. And there's so many fun colors and things like that too. I could get into a whole thing. It's just amazing, like all the supplies that you can use, because it's like art journaling is not limited to just like paint and pencils. You could literally go outside and rub some dirt even on your journal and add that element in and make it into something. You want to use like magazines, newspaper, scrapbook paper, and cardstock to like add layers and things to it to just make it look really cool and to build up your journal. You can use notes and letters and cards, photographs, paint swatches. So I have one here. I actually use these a lot. So I just take them from Lowe's, if I'm being honest. And it's super fun. I feel like it just adds like something kind of cool to the art journal. Another really neat like little element. If I want to like have a theme or something, I can add these colors to it through my swatches. And you can use washi tape, scissors, and then glue. And then honestly, the last thing is to just prepare your space. When you're art journaling, you want it to be spacious. You want to have like enough room to be able to have your supplies because it gets super messy, like really, really, really quick. So just make sure it's spacious. Make sure you have a trash can. Make sure you're comfortable and in a space that's like without distractions, so people aren't coming in. Put your music on if you want. You can have those like nice upbeat jams. You can have the slow stuff, which is what I usually like. I do it at night for the most part. And then set your intention about what you want your art journaling page to be for the night. And then if you don't know for sure, you can just find a prompt online. You can go to Pinterest. They have them everywhere. Or you can just use like a pre-made art journal that has prompts in it from the start. Yeah. And so you're basically set. And that's pretty much how you do it.
Awesome. Destiney, thanks so much. This was, I for someone who's not very artistic, this was really, really cool to see just the different styles and ways as you were kind of thinking. I was even starting to process like things that I would want in an art journal. And then I got into this really deep kind of like, oh my gosh, there's like stuff I actually probably need to like journal, you know? So I was like, wow, okay, so this actually is working. I want to ask you just a couple questions before we transition to actually work on the prompt that you have for us on the Zoom. But what are your favorite pens or markers for art journaling?
If I'm being honest, it's straight up just like, I don't use anything fancy either. I love these Sharpies though, like the fine tip ones. I have a ton of them. It's super nice because they get into like the details of things. But I like those. And then something else, these are like a little more on the expensive side. And I feel like you kind of have to know how to use them, but they're called Copic markers. And it's basically like almost like watercoloring, but with a marker. They're so, so good.
That's awesome. Okay. So someone else asked, how often do you know what you're going to art journal about when you set out to art journal? Or is it spontaneous or more of a planned process? It's a great question.
I feel like it's pretty spontaneous. There are times when I'm like, I don't want to art journal this month. Or I'm like, I want to art journal this week. It kind of just depends on like really the busyness of my schedule. But when I do it, I kind of have like an intent in mind. So I'm like, oh, I was inspired by this today, so I want to art journal about it. That's usually what it is.
So for you, why did you start? Was it something that was always kind of inside of you, or just kind of like you stumbled upon it? Or what the first time you art journaled, what was it that you're like, okay, this is what I needed?
I feel like, so I loved lists. I love list making. I've never bullet journaled, which I feel like is more of like the art journaling / like list making thing. But I love list making. And when I first art journaled, so in high school, it was like me and a group of friends. And we basically made this group where we just like came to my house on the weekend and we just art journaled for like months on end. And it was basically like me thinking of lists and doing it not through words, but doing it through art. And I was like, oh, wow, like this is a really like interesting way to do this. It still feels as like satisfying as a list and checking things off, but like I'm basically taking like mental lists and putting it in a journal in an art form. But I've pretty much been doing art I feel like my entire life, ever since I was a kid. But I think that was the moment when I was like, I love art journaling. Like,
Right.
it's a really neat way to be able to like express something like as simple as a list, but be like it's even bigger than that. Like you literally can express yourself like in so many different ways with it. It was just like it started with a list for me, and then I was like, okay, I can take these images and add it into here, and like this is my list instead.
Okay, cool. So just a couple more questions. Someone asked favorite journals for art journaling.
So this is my current one. Nothing fancy. I think I got this from like Walmart. So it's the Strathmore one, but I recommend if you're going to get an art journal, because it can be kind of overwhelming to be in that aisle and be like, okay, there's like canvas journals, there's watercolor journals. Get the mixed media one because you can pretty much do everything on it. Another one that I really, really love, I forget what the brand is, but if you go to Walmart, you'll see it because it's the only one that they carry. It's blue, and it's made of like this sort of canvasy paper. I like that because you can rip it out and there's no like little scragglies on the side or anything like that, but you can use paint with it, and it's like really good quality paper. So if you want to frame it or gift it to someone, like it seems like you like were thinking really deeply and you spent a lot of money when maybe you didn't. But I love that one.
Cool. You know the drill. I mean, you've been a part of this from the very beginning. So the last question I always like to ask is, what does community mean to you, and what does it look like for you?
I feel like community to me is really just like being with the people that you love, doing the things that you love, and especially right now, just like being intentional about being together. And obviously, like with COVID and everything, it's kind of hard, but like doing your best possible to stay in contact with people, to be in relationship with them, whether it's through like Facebook, Instagram, texting them, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever you can do. And then I also feel like Abraham had a really good, like, just some good insight on it. I feel like community is also just like even being sometimes in the hurt together, being able to talk through those things together, be honest and vulnerable. Like that's how you know you're in a community, when you feel safe to be vulnerable with people, and you just love them and you love doing life with them.
I love that. Thanks so much, Destiny. How can people connect with you if they want to ask you questions, learn more about art journaling, anything like that?
So if you guys have any more questions, you can always hit me up on Facebook. I feel like I'm on Facebook more than anything else. My Facebook name is Destiney Lee. You guys might be able to see it. But if not, it's Destiney, spelled like the normal word, but with an E at the end, E-Y. And then also Instagram. My Instagram is Destiney F. Lee. You can always connect with me on there, message me. I check it every once in a while. And I'm free to like answer any sort of questions that you guys might have about supplies, or if you want to art journal together through Zoom or anything, I'm so down. So
cool. And could you give us, okay, so we're going to transition over right now for the next 15 minutes to do some art journaling. So maybe just to entice those who are wondering, like, hey, should I come to the Zoom conversation? What do you have the idea of what prompt we're going to be doing, or like what are we going to navigate through for the next 15 minutes?
Yeah, so the prompt that I had in mind, I'll just give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. So I took an art therapy course about a year ago, and the first prompt that she had us do, it was called a feelings prompt. And basically she had all of us in the class sit, and she gave us a feeling. So I think we had about 6 feelings that she gave us, and we had, at least for that, like 5 minutes for each feeling. And we had to basically visualize and make art for what we thought the feeling would look like. So like she would say sadness, and then happiness, loneliness. And then at the end, we shared what we thought and what we drew about the feeling and what that looked like. And it was just so interesting to see how everyone like visualized different feelings, because some people were like, anger is red. No, anger is this like deep, dark, black hole. So that's a little sneak peek. You should definitely come and Zoom with me. I think it's going to be fun. 15 minutes of your time. That's about it.
Cool. All right. Well, Destiny, thanks so much. And guys, remember the Zoom information is already in the Facebook group. So if you want to hop over there in a couple minutes, we will see you there. Thanks so much, Destiny. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for another community and culture night. So thankful for this community and the incredible questions you guys ask, and just everything overall. It's been an awesome journey these past few months. Excited to do some art journaling with Destiney. If you guys have any questions, hit us up. Just as a reminder, we also just included a speaker form. So if you're someone who you or someone you know would be a really great person to have a conversation with, please fill out that form, have them fill out the form so our team can connect with them, because we want to continue to have interesting people, not just in Indy, but outside the area as well. Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.